on that, and maybe it is by these three measures, as we talked about: radical acceptance, radical honesty, radical responsibility. Could you give some tools that you could just take and apply this?
Yeah,
I think that'd be super valuable for people and for myself, actually, as we approach
the
time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, thank you for asking. Well, again, if you come into the new paradigm, again, which is about being the author of your life, creating the whole of your own reality. What we know is that those three guiding principles that you mentioned. So if I'm firstly being honest with myself, that I'm choosing to go to this family gathering. And just a side note for any of the listeners, remember, it's about the law of resonance and vibration. So when you make that choice, when you think about going to the family gathering or going to see whoever it might be, notice whether your energy's up or energy's down. Because if your energy goes down, you need to be really honest with yourself. Am I up for this? Because that, the vibration's down, it'll take you down. And once it starts taking you down, it'll take your children down, your family down. So if you can lean into the choice, at least from a state of being neutral, or if not, with a vibration that's uplifting, then like any relationship, workplace relationship, your beloved, your children, as we've covered in a previous podcast, fundamentally, again, just to repeat, nothing external can make you feel anything. You choose how you feel. And the buttons that get pressed by your children, by your family of origin, the button is always, I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable and valuable, which isn't true. So when your button gets pressed, it's just the little you that is giving meaning to the external world, that I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable and valuable. If you think about the family, if you loved me, then you would have done goose, not turkey. If you valued me, you would have given me the pajamas, not the cricket bat. Whatever it might be. So if you, for all of our listeners, do your practice. The meditations are there. Get grounded, get present. This is the time to amplify your practice. Because what a lot of people do is let the anchor go. It's Christmas. I'll have a few drinks. I'll overeat. Nothing wrong with that, but you're more fragile. Your vibration's down. That's why how many Christmas barneys or arguments happen after the drinks, late in the afternoon, when all the stuff that's never been said comes up. A couple of drinks, people loosen their lips, they bring up the old stuff. So again, you got to be grounded, you got to be present, you got to be willing to take responsibility, radical responsibility for who you're being in that moment.
The sense of, you talk about, following your practice. For me, I'm getting a sense of this self-care that you really want to have in place before this coming together, especially if you have a sense of, it's been this way in the past. I don't want it to be that way again. So how do I show up as my best self? And I remember Christmases of old, and in the industry I used to work in, by the time I got to the 23rd, 24th of December, I was fried. Frankly, taking clients out, being taken out, partying with friends, and I had nothing left to give. So that triggering that you talked about, that was so easy. I was literally on a hair's trigger. I was ready to go at any point if someone said the wrong thing or gave me the wrong present. So that's a little bit about this is me before doing the work. And,
exactly. That's it. The last thing you need to do is put your nervous system into a traumatic, or a post-traumatic experience. The other thing, again, if you're already doing the work, to the listeners, if you've already got some of these tools and you're applying them, then if you feel empowered, one of the greatest tools to move into this is the tool of gratitude and love. Again, if you haven't done the work, it's going to be a bit trickier. And when I say the work, as I've mentioned, presence, grounding, doing some shadow work, doing some reflection work. If you can flip that coin, and again, I know a lot of this podcast has been about the triggers and the limiting beliefs around our family of origin, but if you can flip the coin and take the high ground, and be grateful and be loving again of self and loving of your family of origin, particularly your caregivers, your mum or dad. You can see the gifts that they've given you. You can be grateful for all that they did. And again, not condoning inappropriate behavior. I know, there's some behavior that isn't okay. Yet if it's, less, if there's no, physical abuse, those sorts of things, then how can I be grateful for this experience? How can I be grateful for this relationship? And again, it's fascinating when we see elderly people move into their eldership, how some people can start to surrender, and receive that acknowledgement, that gratitude. And so if you can take that to the family gathering, it's a high ground, yet it's very empowering.
Yeah.